Hello, we're here today with HDTV Test. My name's Rob Taylor. I'm TV Product Manager here at Panasonic UK, and we're going to do a little bit of a role reversal today. I'm going to actually interview Vincent Teo, who, as you know, is a professional TV reviewer and a professional TV calibrator. So, Vincent, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rob. Right? As you probably know by now, I always enjoy a bit of role reversal. And here what we have is two Panasonic GX800 LED LCD televisions, which is one of the most affordable TVs on the market from the Japanese brand that actually carry Dolby Vision support. As you probably know from watching my YouTube channel, I've been an advocate of dynamic metadata technology, especially in terms of Dolby Vision. And what it allows is frame-by-frame or even scene-by-scene metadata so that the display can actually optimize the picture on screen to present an experience that matches the content creator's intent most closely. What we have here is basically two 58-inch GX800, and I believe that the retail price is around £899, and maybe at Black Friday time, this will drop even further. We are showing two clips from the same content, and this is basically glass being molded by fire. And if you can see on your right here, this is the HDR10 static metadata version, and this is the Dolby Vision proprietary dynamic metadata version. If you can manage to see past YouTube's compression and maybe even my camera's limited dynamic range, you may be able to tell that the flames here are being blown out, and you can barely see the distinction between the flame and also the shape of the glass that is being molded. Whereas on the Dolby Vision presentation, you can clearly see very distinct outline of the flame and also the shape of the glass. Another thing that I actually want to point out, certainly from watching here, is the richer colors and the richer gamma that is provided by Dolby Vision. One key advantage of dynamic metadata over static metadata is that, as you can see from the difference between these two GX800 here, on your right displaying static metadata HDR10, on your left displaying dynamic metadata Dolby Vision, is that with static metadata, there's really only one set of value that is applied throughout the entire piece of content or the entire movie. So there's, realistically speaking, only one set of tone curve across the entire movie, regardless of whether the scene is bright or dark. Whereas with dynamic metadata, such as Dolby Vision, what the TV can do is to read the dynamic metadata, which is embedded into the content on a frame-by-frame or scene-by-scene basis, and then adjust the tone curve as per needed so that in brighter scenes, the specular highlight detail will be maintained, whereas in darker scenes, it doesn't need to maintain specular highlight detail, and maybe it can actually generate a richer gamma. But from the difference that you can hopefully see on camera today, to my eyes, the GX800 with Dolby Vision being played just retain more specular highlight detail in terms of the shapes of the flames and also the difference between the glass and also the flame. Not only that, it also maintains a richer, I call it gamma, but in HDR terms, I should call it EOTF, or electro-optical transfer function. It just presented a richer EOTF with like darker and inkier and deeper areas, to create more depth and just a generically richer, more immersive picture experience than HDR10 that cannot alter its tone curve on a scene-by-scene or frame-by-frame basis. What we are going to do now is to go upstairs, where I will show you the Dolby grading suite, where I will try and talk through how the Dolby Vision grading process is being done using a Dolby Pulsar monitor and also a Dolby PRM monitor. The message here, while I'm still in this room, is that Panasonic is not only reserving this premium dynamic metadata HDR experience for their top-end sets, they are actually bringing it down all the way to the GX800. And these sets, they are actually extremely affordable. I mean, if you think about it, a 58-inch GX800 for £899, maybe coming down to £700, £600 during Black Friday. I believe that the GX800 will be available in 40-inch, in 50-inch, in 58-inch, and also in 65-inch screen sizes. And the 50-inch, I believe, has a retail price of around $799 currently. And this uses a V8 High LCD panel. The lighting is edge lighting, just based on how thin the panel is. But, as an affordable set that can give you a premium HDR experience, I think this is a good first step. and I certainly look forward to reviewing them later. But we'll go up to the grading suite, the Dolby grading suite, and we'll have a look there. I'm here in Dolby's grading suite in Soho, London, and what I'm standing beside is basically one of the most beautiful displays that I've actually seen. This is the Dolby Pulsar, which is capable of 4000 nits, and this is actually the first time I've actually seen it, believe it or not. And beside it, you have the PRM 4200 Grade 1 reference monitor, and maybe you can't actually see my face because I had to lower the exposure of the camera so much to be able to adequately expose and capture the highlight detail here, so I'm in the dark. But if I step aside here, hopefully you can see that on the screen here, these are basically just a monitor where the colorist will be grading the HDR footage and also maybe the SDR trim pass using DaVinci Resolve, and I'm actually quite familiar with the software and I happen to use it to grade all my YouTube videos. So what I'm going to stand here and talk to you about is basically the creative process that Dolby has come up with for their Dolby Vision proprietary dynamic metadata technology. So what the colorist will normally do is to grade HDR using the Dolby Pulsar as reference. Once the colorist has finished the HDR grading, it will be passed through a Dolby Vision engine analysis, and then the colorist will perform further adjustments using the PRM monitor, which is calibrated to a peak white of 100 nits. They will be doing an SDR trim pass, and all these different metadata will be embedded inside one single package, which will be delivered to, let's say, the likes of Netflix, the likes of any post-production studio, for them to actually get out an SDR version, an SD version, HD version, or let's say HDR10 version to deliver to different types of TVs that consumers have on the market. And because of this grading process, all these different deliverables will have a consistent look across different mediums, because they come from a master process here. And even though I'm standing beside the Dolby Pulsar monitor, not necessarily all Dolby Vision content needs to be mastered on the Dolby Pulsar. Other studios can be using other monitors, let's say the Sony BVM X3800, to perform a similar Dolby Vision process as well in terms of the HDR grading and then an SDR trim pass. So if you want to just take a very quick look at just how different the HDR image is to the SDR image, again, the difference may be limited by the dynamic range of the camera I'm using to capture this footage, but you can just see just how much more dynamic and how much brighter the headlamps is and just the reflections to give you the impact, to give you the sense of depth. And I always say that the difference between HDR and SDR is basically the intensity and the shape of light. We judge everything in life by light, depending on the shape and intensity. And if you lose the shape and intensity, it does not correspond to the real world, then you lose the sense of realism that the image can actually present to you. And on this Dolby Pulsar, certainly I saw the most beautiful form of the Panasonic advert for their upcoming OLED TV on any display. 4000 nits is 4000 nits. It just gives you that sort of impact and just made me go wow. And unfortunately, on the consumer market, there is no such display that is capable of 4000 nits yet. But hopefully we'll reach there one day, together with maybe Rec 2020 colors. Besides Dolby Vision, there is another piece of Dolby technology on the GX800 as well, and that is Dolby Atmos processing. And I think by joining the Dolby Audio camp, this leaves some other manufacturers, Samsung mainly, as the only one who doesn't actually have Dolby Atmos processing. And based on the demonstration that I had earlier at this Dolby facility, the Dolby Atmos output from the GX800 certainly created more immersion and more soundstage than what would be if you had sent out a stereo audio output alone. If you found this video useful, please click the like button and subscribe to the HDTV Test YouTube channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.